Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So what I want to show today is a little bit of a starter kit for Backlight using Specify, and I'll show you how to integrate Specify and Figma and Style Dictionary and all these things to really get a very nice design token flow in your design system. So this is Specify. You probably have heard of it if you're watching this video. So the approach they take is that your design tokens, the source of truth of your design tokens, lives inside of Figma. So, and the nice thing is that when you change things in Figma, it gets synced to Specify, which then can output it to GitHub and other places. And this approach works actually pretty well with Backlight. So you can actually use Specify for your design tokens, and then also use your tokens inside of your components in your design system by using Backlight. So today I'll show you how to use that flow. So let's start with the source of truth of the design tokens. So we get some design tokens over here, and we're just going a little simple today. So I'm just going to show some colors and a button component. We're going to create this button component as well. So we have some primary colors, some gray colors, and we got a bunch of button related colors. So there's a background color, a text color, hover color, there's a border, like an inside shadow border thing, and there's like an outside focus outline. And they all have colors of course as well. So and as you can see here in my color styles, I got two categories basically: my core colors, which is core colors primary, so it's the blues and the grays, and then there's my button, which has a primary variant, which has these background colors, and then an outline variant, which is a transparent background and different border color, but states are sort of the same. So we're going to go with that. So it's basically all colors, which is just keeps this example simple to understand. But anything in Figma, like I know there's like shadow styles and other styles you can use those as well. All right, so let's start by publishing these styles as a library. So we go to libraries, we publish a starter specify library, and this is basically the first publish of this, and this is how you make sure that your changes that you make in your tokens are persisted, and this is also what Specify picks up on. It's this library. So I publish this, and then let's try to make sure this we can load this into Specify app. So we open the app, log in. I'll just create a new repository. I think I have 3 in this trial, so it should work. Starter specify, I'll call it. Create this repository, and then we'll add some design tokens. So kind of leads us through this process. We have colors in this case, so let's add a color category. The connected Figma account, I already got my Figma account connected, otherwise you have to go to settings and set that up. But I already got it, so that's good. Let's do from a new file, and then I have to like find the link of this. So one way you can do that is go here. You can go. I always need to figure out how to do this. Wait, so it's not that. It's this. No, copy link. I think that's it. Okay, right. So then you paste your file URL. We connect that. We say local styles, you can do from frame as well, but we got our local styles. We have it as a published Figma library, so that will work just fine. Automatically synchronize, yes. And then it's gonna extract my colors from the Figma library, and we can see here we got the colors, the core colors and the button colors as well. And we click save. So now as soon as we change something in Figma, so let's say we change a color, for example, we can always press sync tokens. It does this daily automatically, but if you want to do it manually, you can click here. So as soon as we publish a change in our Figma library, we can just click the sync tokens thing, and it'll be synchronized over here. So that's great. So we got our input, which are our Figma tokens. Now we have to get an output, so we have to push it to GitHub. So right here, I'm going to just go to backlight.dev and create a new design system in Backlight. So I just log in, and I go here, and I just say new design system. Create a new design system, and I'll just click a blank project. That'll work just fine for us. Let's just give this a name. We're actually going to call this starter specify, because this is going to become the starter specify starter kit. I'll change the description later, but for now, specify starter git, public, div rights, yeah, that's all fine. Okay, so now we have a Backlight project, but we don't have it connected to GitHub yet, so let's do that actually. So let's just go to create repository over here in the Git tab. We click GitHub, and we'll just click div rights, which is the company I work for, so we'll just create it on that organization. We call it starter specify, that's good. Create and push. First thing I'll do immediately is just install the GitHub app. That will make just the workflow a lot nicer in general. So I think it should actually, maybe it's already installed on the organization level. So, but here we can see that we have a nice little GitHub project. Starter specify. And yeah, it seems like we already have the GitHub app installed, so that's nice. It's probably installed organization-wide. Otherwise, you can get like a little link here that asks you to install the GitHub app. I would really recommend doing that. Makes the whole workflow a lot nicer, and this will synchronize as soon as something gets pushed to GitHub, and yeah, it's just super nice. So now that we actually have like an output, like a nice little folder over here, a nice little GitHub repo, we can actually use that as the output repository for specify. So if we click now on sources, we can see we have our Figma, and then we can click on destinations and we can add a destination. So we can see here we have our available destinations, GitHub. So the way we, you can click here and then see how to actually integrate this and watch this little video. And basically what it comes down to, let's just mute that for a sec. What it comes down to is that you have to install the specify app. Let's see. I'll just open this video, and the thing I want to point out is the JSON files you have to add for this to work. So there's a specify JSON RC. I think I just skipped over it. Yeah. So this is the one that we need to add actually for specify to pick up on it. And we need to install the specify app as well. So let's actually see. I think we have the specify app installed already, but we can check. So we can go to apps, div rights, apps, my apps, GitHub. You can see the details. But if you don't have this set up yet, I actually do need to set it up because I only have this one available. I need another one. So configure GitHub, specific repository. Let's see if I can easily select repository, starter, specify. Okay, so let's install this app on the starter specify app, repo, I mean. So we install the GitHub application. Now I think if we refresh this, we should actually see, oh, maybe not. Huh. Oh, it's right here now. Okay. Yeah, so it's on the div rights account, starter specify, it's installed. So now I'll actually watch this repository, and as soon as you create that JSON file I was talking about, it'll actually pick up on that. So let's skip ahead in this video a little bit. So here it adds a file. We can actually do it the same way. I already have like a little template set up. And here you configure specify. So it's .specify rc.json. So let's do that. Let's refresh this. Let's add file, create a new file. .specify rc.json, and I actually already have something that I can use. So I'll just paste this in. The other thing I need to change, be aware that this repository, it means your specify repository. So in the specify app, not your GitHub repository. That's easy to get confused by. So this is div rights, that's correct. That's my workspace in specify, and then it's starter specify. So this needs to be starter specify. Then head specify, that's good. Let's see, rules, design tokens, colors, sure, parsers, and then this is the important one. So the to-style dictionary. This will output it to a style dictionary format. So we can use style dictionary to then export it to CSS custom properties, and we can use that to build our button component, for example. So I think this is okay. Let's try this. Create create specify JSON, that's fine. Commit new file. Now we wait a little bit, see if the magic happens. Yeah, so now we have a new pull request. So specify just made a pull request. We open this up. We check it. Don't worry about this check. It's not very important for this. And we can see that we actually have a color/base.json that has all our color tokens. So it has actually the core colors as well as the button colors. So that's nice. Yeah, so maybe like the nesting I could do different, but that's color-based, core color. It's a little bit too nested, but it's okay for now for this example. So we just accept that. We say just merge this. Let's do that. So the nice thing is we have now, if we go to our main branch, we can now see in our color packages, we can see that we have the tokens over here. So that's pretty cool. We can use style dictionary now to convert these tokens to something that we can use, like CSS custom properties. So let's actually start doing that. We can create a little file over here in the root files, and I need to create a new branch because otherwise I cannot add new files. So set up style dictionary. Okay, now we get a plus button. We can click this and we can make a sd.config.common.js. The thing about doing it in CJS is just to make sure that it, if you use style dictionary outside of Backlight, it will still work because that one uses common.js. You can also use like ESM, but yeah, since the style dictionary library is common.js, it might not work if you then want to detach from Backlight. So I usually do it with the CJS thing. So we do, let's see if I have something that I can copy over. I'll just copy over something I already have. So I'll explain a little bit. So basically here you see we have a core and semantic token called color, and we have component tokens called button. And what we want to do basically is we want to find our tokens.json. So if we look in this color thing, it's called base.json. Maybe I should have called this a different file name, but it's okay. We'll just do base.json. So it's color /base.json. And then the platforms we want to export to is, we'll just do only CSS. So we'll just only do, we'll make some CSS variables out of it. So maybe we can make this a little easier. This is okay. So we are generating, we're trying to get our token output next to this. So let's see if we save this. Let's see what happens. Let's check our console so we can see the style dictionary output. We did actually make one. It made it color/source/color.tokens.css. So let's check that. Here we go. We got our CSS custom properties. And again, like the nesting is a little bit too much, but we can always change that later on. For now, for this example and for this video, I'll just continue with this. So now we got some custom properties that we can actually start using in our button component. So let's actually move this color thing. Let's move that over to our tokens category. We can do that in the studio config JSON, and we can say here color. And then for our components, we'll have a button component. Still need to make it, but button. There we go. Did this not save? Okay, there we go. So we have a button component, and let's actually make some button.css. So we'll just have we'll just make like a CSS component, so nothing too crazy, no frameworks or anything, just like a simple button component. I think we got a button component pretty ready now. I think we used almost all of them at least. We'll see if it's not enough. So we go to our doc and we want to make some documentation already. So let's just make index.md. We're going to use Markdown in JavaScript, which means basically putting JavaScript stuff in Markdown. I'll show more about it. So button, I'll just make like a little header and I'll say this is a button component. Okay, we got a little markdown over here. We'll make it nicer in a bit. But let's start with making a little demo. So we can do a JS, like a JS snippet. And if you put script here, it'll actually execute that JS. Instead of just showing the JavaScript to the user, it'll actually execute it. So here we can actually import our CSS. So we can say, for our component to work, we need to import the custom CSS properties. So we do that here. We say source/button.css. And then we'll show a demo. And you can do that with this preview story. That will give you like a demo with also the code snippet underneath it. So let's go with, and this uses component story format if you're used to Storybook. And also let's actually use, let's use lit to render it. Just need something to render it. So this base. And then we'll make a little button. And then we'll just go with class. And this is our button class. And this will load the styles from the button component. I'll just go click me. To install lit, we have to go to the package.json. So let's go there. Let's install it actually. Yeah, good question. I think it's like 2 points. Yeah, let's check it out. Lit npm.js lit. That's 2.2.2. Okay, sure. I'll save this and we'll start actually bundling and installing lit. So that's nice. Then in the button, it should start working if we save this. Okay, so we got a little button, click me. We see the code over here. Again, this looks pretty ugly, but we'll make it nicer in a bit. So let's see this button over here. We can see it gets some padding. We can see the, oh, right, so I didn't load the, I load the button CSS, but I didn't load the actual, I didn't load the color tokens. So it's tokens, source, color.tokens.css. Okay, let's get to the button. So it's color, like this, color /source/color.tokens.css. As we save this, now we get a nice little button. We forgot the border radius. Let's put some border radius on it. Border radius. Let's do maybe 0.25 rem. See how much that is. Too much, too little. It's a bit too little. Let's make it double. It looks pretty good. I'm happy with this. We can see the hover effect. We can see the, hopefully we can see the focus state. No, something went wrong there. So let's double check that. Let's put a focus state on here. Okay, so we can see there's an outline. There should be an outline. Strange. I'll just put, okay, where's the outline? Let's do 2 pixels, solid. Okay, now we have a focus state. We fixed that one. Active, let's see if that one works. So that one doesn't seem to work just yet. Box shadow. Oh, I made it 0, 0, 0 pixels. Should probably give it some pixels. So let's put maybe 2 pixels over here. Okay, now we can see that there's an active state. Okay, we can see all the states now. It's maybe not the nicest looking button, but it's important to have all the states. Yeah, okay, that works pretty well. Let's make the outline button as well. So let's make another story for the outline button. Outline, and we do outline, and we probably want one for disabled as well, because we didn't show that yet. So let's make it disabled. Disabled. Okay, I get some more buttons now. So here we can see that since the background is transparent, we're using kind of like a light mode background. We should probably put the color on black. But perhaps we're assuming a dark background everywhere. So let's see, like for example, the Backlight application, it's mostly dark. It's dark theme by default. Maybe we're gonna do the same for this, so we don't see the text just yet. So maybe now is a good time to make this documentation look nicer. So we'll make like a little infrastructure component, and we'll just install a little helper that will help us to make it nice out of the box without doing too much work. So we go to our package.json, def dependencies. Maybe lit is a def dependency as well, actually, now that I think about it, because it's only used for the documentation. So, and we'll just put in dockit core, and this will just give us some documentation kit kind of helpers to make things look nice. So like install that. We go to doc layout, and in our doc layout, in our source, we can make a little template .js. And I'm just gonna copy over some stuff that I used in a different project. So what we can see here is we have some template that will give us the layout of our documentation. And the important stuff is, well, there's a logo here, some colors over here. We can use, maybe let's use one of the colors from specify. So we can maybe use this one. And we have a logo. I actually have a logo saved somewhere. So let's just, I got the specify logo over here. So let's just do logo.svg. Let's put this logo in. And then it should say style dictionary starter. No, it's a specify starter. And I think this is prose dark, and we want to do dark by default. So we just change that to dark. I think this should get us pretty close, actually. So let's open now the doc, and well, not that much changed. This is because we don't have md.js.json yet. So we got to make a little md.js.config.js, and it's just a configuration file where you can put you can import your doc layout template that we just made, and then export it as the layout. And that will configure Backlight to use that layout. All right, so that was a little glitch, but it's fine. So now, just looking at our template again, I just looked up how to get the invert to make sure we get a nice little. It looks pretty good now, actually, the docs. So what I had to do is add this, make sure it's like dark mode. I think, do we need that still, actually? Yeah, we do need that still. So that way to tell the docs thing that it's dark mode. And then here we have a dark prose invert. And here we say that you cannot change the color scheme. So you do get a menu here, but you don't get a color scheme button. So we're just doing a black default. What we might notice now is because we're assuming a black background, like a dark theme kind of default. If I like go focus on it, you can see like a black outline, but it's black, so that's probably not the right color. So that's probably something that we're gonna change in Figma, and then we're gonna see the change inside Backlight in a bit. So ignore that for now. The rest looks okay. This probably needs a hover state, but it's all right. The border, you cannot really see the border, but other than that, it's actually okay. So that's also something we're gonna change in Figma in a bit. So we have our button component. It's not perfect, but we can change some tokens in Figma to make it nice. But let's first merge this to main, and then we'll. The idea is at least that we will just change some Figma, some tokens in Figma, and we'll get a pull request from specify, and that'll just update our buttons nicely. So you don't need a developer anymore in the middle. You just change stuff in Figma, and it'll just change the component. That's the idea, at least. First thing we got to do though is specify. It will make a pull request with the updated tokens. So the token, they're somewhere here, called base.json. This is our tokens for now. As soon as we update Figma tokens and we go through specify, we synchronize, it'll make a pull request changing these tokens. That does not mean that automatically we already get our CSS custom properties, because for that we still need to run style dictionary. So we're gonna do a little GitHub action magic to make that automatic, so we don't have to do that manually, because we want to make this whole flow as automatic as possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to starter specify, and we're going to make, we're just going to clone this actually. I'm just going to do this quickly in my VS Code right here. Okay, clone. We clone starter specify. And I'm just going to create a folder called .github. And we're going to make a folder workflows. And in this workflows folder, I'm going to just copy something that I already had pre-made. So it's a nice little workflow that I use. I'm going to just call it specify.yaml. And here I'm just going to copy this. So basically what this does, this flow, it runs style dictionary when we create a pull request. That means the pull request that's created by specify. And we can make it a little bit nicer by saying only do this on pull request created by specify. Now it's doing it for all pull requests, but for now that's okay. And then basically what it does is it has one job, and that's to run style dictionary and commit those changes. So what we do is we check out the head of the PR. So yeah, the PR gets opened. We check out that pull request. We check out the head, and we run style dictionary over it. So we just say npx style dictionary. So just install it locally for a bit, build it, and use this config. That's the config we have in Backlight as well. And then as soon as it's done with that, then commit those changes. And then this is the message and the username. So let's add that, and let's actually commit that to main. So we'll just do add commit, specify GitHub workflow. And we'll just push that to main. All right, so I'm pretty happy about that.